Hi everybody, it's Mr. Liu. This is page 97. Practice 2, multiply by 6. Look at each array model, write the multiplication facts. So if you look at our example, we did this in previous pages. This is our array model, and here we have 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to underline to separate it. We have 4 rows, 2, 3, and 4. 4 rows of 6 circles each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to write that right here. So here we have 4 rows of 6, which is basically 4 times 6. And here 4 times 6 is 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So 4 rows of 6 equals 24. Let's do number 1. Let's figure out how many rows first. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. And in each row we have, again, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here we have 5 rows of 6, which is basically the same thing as 5 times 6, because it's basically like 5 groups of 6. And here, because we knew 4 times 6 was 24, so over here, we knew that 4 times 6, this was 24. We just had to count another 6. So 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So 5 times 6 is 30, because it's just another row of 6. Here, we have 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 rows of 6, which is the same thing as 6 times 6. Okay, which is basically just adding another row. So here we have 4 times 6 equals 24. 5 times 6 equals 30. And we're adding just another row of 6, which means we just need to count another row of 6 because we knew our 5 rows of 6 was 30. So we just have to count another 6. So 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Alright, so if you notice what we're doing, we're counting our multiples, and it's very important that you learn how to count your multiples. So here we're counting our multiples of 6. So we have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. So let's go to the next page. Fill in the missing numbers. So 8 sixes, which is basically 8 groups of 6, is 8 times, well, that's 6. 5 times 6, well, 5 times 6, remember, it's just the same thing as 5 groups of 6, which is just 5 sixes. Okay, so here we go. We have 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7, which is our repeated addition, which means we have, well, let's think about how many groups we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 sevens, which is the same thing as 6 times 7, or 6 groups of 7. Here we have a lot of 6s. Well, let's count how many 6s we have. We have 1 6, 2 6, 3 6s, 4 6s, 5 6s, 6 6s, and 7 6s, or 7 groups of 6, which is the same thing as 7 times 6. Okay, here we have 10 times 6 equals 6 times. Remember, we can switch these around. 10 times 6 equals 6 times. Well, that's 10. And 8 3 6s, or we can write here 3 groups of 6, is the same thing as, well, that's 1 6, 2 6, and we need another 6 over here to make it 3 6s, or 3 groups of 6. So it'll be 6 plus 6 plus 6. So let's look at number 9. Multiply. Use multiplication facts you know to find other multiplication facts. 6 times 4, we've been talking about this, is just 6 groups of 4, which is 5 groups of 4 plus how many more groups of 4? So here, I'm going to draw a picture to help us understand this. So I'm going to draw 6 groups of 4, and I'm going to use simple circles. I'm going to draw 6 circles to represent 6 groups. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here's my 6, and I know it's kind of weird circles. Here are 6 groups, and in each I'm going to put 4. So here I have 6 groups of 4. So 6 groups of 4 equals 5 groups of 4 plus, so I'm going to color coordinate just 5 groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are my 5 groups right here. 5 groups of 4 plus, well, that's just one more group of 4. So here I'm going to write one more group of 4. Okay, so here I have 5 groups of 4. I'm going to write that over here. 5 groups of 4. Oops. And 5 groups of 4 is just another way of saying 5 times 4. And we know how to do 5 times 4 because we know how to count by our 5s. Or we know how to count by 5s, or we shouldn't even know how to count by 4s. Remember, 5 times 4 is the same thing as 4 times 5. So 5 times 4 is just 5, 10, 15, 20. Well, that's 20. 20 plus my last 4. So 20 plus 4 gives me 24. Okay? Let's do number 10. 5 times 6. Well, again, 5 times 6 is the same thing as 6 times 5. And we know our 5 multiples. So let's count our 5 multiples 6 times. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So we know 5 times 6 equals 30. So 7 times 6, well, 7 times 6 is 7 groups of 6. And again, as before, 7 groups of 6 is 5 groups of 6 plus how many more groups of 6? Well, I'm going to draw that for you one more time just in case you didn't get it. So I'm going to draw my 7 groups of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here I have 7 circles. I'm going to put 6 in each to represent 7 groups of 6. Okay? So 7 groups of 6 equals 5 groups of 6. So I'm going to count my 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll take these 5 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll take these 5 right here. So 5 groups of 6 plus, well, there's 2 more here. So 5 groups of 6 plus 2 more groups of 6. And I know what 5 groups of 6 is because 5 groups of 6 is just 5 times 6, which is right over here. And that gives me 30. 30 plus, and I need to know what 2 groups of 6 is. And that's just 6 plus 6, or 6 times 2, or I just count by my 6's. 6, 12. And then I add those two together. 30 plus 12, well, that's just counting 30 in my head. Sorry, that's adding 30 plus 12 in my head, which is counting by 10. So I have 12, 22, 32, 42. Well, 30 plus 12 is 42. Okay, now let's do number 11. So 10 times 6, again, 10 times 6, same thing as 6 times 10, meaning I can count my 10s 6 times. Well, that would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So 10 times 6 is just 60. And 8 times 10 is 8 groups of 10, which is 10 groups of 6. Sorry, that's 8 groups of 6. So that equals 10 groups of 6 minus, well, in order for me to get from 10 to 8, I got to take away 2 of the groups of 6. Alright, so we know 10 times 6 equals 60 again. And I got to take away my 2 groups of 6, which we did right here. Our 2 groups of 6 is 12. So 60 minus 12. So we can do that using mental math. Let's do 60 minus 10 first. 60 minus 10 is 50. And then minus 2 more, 50, 49, 48. And that gives me 48. Alright, and that is page 98.